Hi, welcome to Coda Guitar's reference lesson on how to tune your guitar. Now we're going to be using an electronic tuner in this lesson. There's various ways that you can tune your guitar. You can tune it to itself, the different strings to each other. You can tune to another instrument like a keyboard or another guitar. You can even use what are called pitch pipes, but definitely the best way for beginners is to use an electronic tuner. This is because it's quite hard. You kind of need to train your ears up to listen to just the tiny little differences between whether a string or a note is in or out of tune. And it's very hard for beginners to get this, and if you're playing your guitar and it's out of tune, it's going to sound a little bit dodgy. No matter how well you're playing, it's always going to sound a bit rough if you've not got your guitar in tune. So by far the easiest way of doing this is to go out and buy an electronic tuner, and you'll have that for hopefully the rest of your guitar playing career. So here's an example of an electronic tuner. Most of them are fairly similar. Ones like this, like a Korg, can be quite a good reliable model, but most of them should be fine for you. Now you can use this for either acoustic or electric instruments, electric guitars. So here I've got a microphone, so I can just put that next to an acoustic guitar, classical guitar, anything like that, and I'll be able to, it'll pick up the sound and we'll be able to tell if the notes are in tune, the strings are in tune. Or with an electric guitar, this has actually also got a couple of little jack inputs, so I can just plug my jack lead in, my guitar lead in, and again, if I've got the volume turned up, then it's going to put the signal from the guitar into the tuner, and again we'll be able to tell with the display when I switch it on whether it's in tune or not. Now with this particular model, it's also got another jack input or output, and I plug another cable in, and I can feed this directly to my amplifier, so I can still hear the sound of the guitar going through to the amp, and I can also check if the guitar's in tune at the same time, so it can be quite useful for when you're playing live, that sort of facility. Okay, so I've got my tuner switched on, plugged in here, and I can see there's a little light there which tells me that the battery's on. Now I've got a lovely out of tune guitar there as well, so I'm going to have to tune it up. And now just before we start, it's worthwhile remembering that when you pluck a note, particularly when you pluck it quite hard like that, the very start of the note is actually a tiny little bit out of tune, so we just need to let it ring and try and tune to the sustained note or the ringing note. So don't keep playing it like this when you're tuning, just play it once or twice and tune up while it's still ringing through. Okay, so string 6 is also an open E, so on my tuner there's a little light that comes on when I play string 6, and here the lights come on for string 6, but there's also a red light right at the left edge, so that's telling me that the string's too flat, it's too low, so I'm going to have to tune it up. So just by turning the machine head or the tuning peg for that string, for string 6, normally tuning it away from you, twisting it away from you, but you'll have to check for each of your guitars. So there's string 6, so the light's now in the middle and it's changed colour, so that's pretty much in tune. And then string 5, this one's actually okay, so the lights come on for string 5, so it knows that it's a different string. And also the light's right in the middle, different colours, so that's in tune, that's good. Now string 4, the light's changed, it's gone for string 4, but the red light's actually a little bit over to the right now, so it means it's too high. So I need to drop the tuning peg down, twist it round, and just fiddle about with it until I get the light in the middle. So string 4's now pretty much in tune. That'll do for the time being. And then string 3, so the lights come on for string 3, that's in fact in tune, that one's okay. So we'll try string 2 now. Now string 2 has been highlighted at the bottom, but the red light again is to the left, so that's too low, too flat. So I need to tune it up. And that one's pretty much in tune there. String 1, again the light's changed, so it's now picking up string 1, but the red light at the top is on the right hand side, so it means it's too sharp, too high. So I need to drop that down, and then faff around with it until I get it in tune. So I've done all 6 strings there. It's always worthwhile trying them all again, because sometimes they can just change a little bit when you're messing around with the other ones, when you're changing the other ones. So we've got string 6, it's pretty much in there. String 5, pretty much in as well. String 4, so a little bit flat. I'll just move that up a bit. String 3, again, maybe just a tiny little bit flat, and move that up as well. And string 2, it's pretty good. And string 1, that one's alright as well. So try some chords. So if you try a few different chords, it's always a good idea, and then you can tell if your guitar is in tune. So the only other thing that might confuse you is if your guitar's really out of tune. Sometimes playing one string, it can actually register as a different one on the tuner. So I'm going to play string 6. Now string 6 is quite out of tune here. So if I play it, it's actually registering as string 4 there. So my tuner's not broken, it's still working okay. What's actually happening is we need to think about the notes. So open string 6 should be an E, but it's registering as string 4, which is a D. Well, that's miles away. String 4 is loads higher than string 6. But if you count through your alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the nearest D to an E is in fact before it. So that means that this string 6, is too low. It's showing as a D when it should be an E, so I need to make it higher. So I'm going to tune my 6th string up. So it's going up there, and there we go, it's changed string, so it's gone to a string 6 now. The red light's still on the left hand side, so that's still too low, so I'm going to have to keep going. And that's pretty much in the middle, so that's string 6 back in tune now. Now there's one more here that's quite out of tune on my guitar. String 3, now that's actually registering as string 5, which is a very long way away. If you think about the distance between them, string 5 is quite low. But again, if you count through your alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, string 3 should be a G, but A is miles away, it's like 7 notes before it. So remember, when we get to G, we don't go to H or I, we go back to A again. So G to A is actually 1 note too high. So I'm going to assume that string 3 is in fact too high because it's registering as an A when it should be a G. So if I take the tuning peg of string 3, drop it down, so I've dropped that down, and actually it's registering now as string 3, so it's got picked up the right string. So the red light's on the right hand side, it's still a little bit too high, so I'll just have a faff around with this, and there we go. So I've got it in the middle pretty much. It's changed colour and it's registering string 3, and that could be the same with any of the strings. If you've knocked your tuning pegs by mistake, or if you've just left it, not played it for a while. So it's not a question of your tuner being broken, it's just a question of your guitar being quite out of tune. Think of the notes that each string should be and which notes actually registering, and then try and figure out whether the string's too high or too low. So hopefully that should stop you getting too confused, and good luck with tuning your guitar, and I'll see you again soon here on Coda Guitar.